Hey guys, here was another video. This one is going to be about the new Bauer Flylite stick. This is not going to be a review, and normally I don't do an out-of-the-box separate video for a stick just because there's not a whole lot to go over just specs of a single stick. But I kind of want to do it with this just because I also have a Bauer Shadow. So the Shadow and the Flylite are the two current stick models they have out. So I figured, besides just somewhat of an out of the box look at the specs, I can, kind of compare the two sticks, spec wise to each other and fold that into the video as well. So this is not a review. It's sort of out of the box and also just going to be comparison to the Bauer Shadow stick. The review video will be coming, but I just got this Flylite stick in. Haven't used it yet. Haven't even taped it up or anything yet. I wanted to show it just brand new to you guys. The two sticks are both size 24. They're both the P31 curve, which is Bauer's equivalent of like a mid type of curve. So it's going to be apples to apples comparison between the two. And, Bauer, you can order custom sticks. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about is going to be able to be changed if you're going custom. But both of these are just stock sticks I got. So this is going to be an example of what you could get just stock if you're not willing to do custom. So to start off, like I said, both 24-inch sticks, that's what I use. Both P31 curves at the bottom. Now let's get into some of the obvious differences. The back side of the paddle on the Shadow has this ergo spine thing going on. That's been a staple of the Supreme line of sticks for a while now. And the Vapor has always stayed just more traditional, and that's how the Flylite is. So you don't have that spine on the back on the Flylite. Another difference that's going to come stock is the Flylite will come with this pentagrip. You can kind of see how it's shaped there. So the idea behind that is when you grip it, just the shape of it is supposed to be more like ergonomically designed to hold it better. The Shadow does not have that. It's just a standard regular spot there on it. Personally, I don't think it matters. I haven't found, I've used I have a Pentagrip on a Pro Return ultrasonic stick that I've been using for a while. I didn't notice anything. For the most part of my playing career, whatever, I've just used regular ass sticks that look like this. I really don't notice a difference. So it's not like I could take it or leave it personally. I will say, just kind of thinking about it, I could see how maybe this being on here stock might be a negative. I think maybe it would be better if Bauer just offered it as a custom option and maybe just didn't put it automatically on a stock stick. Just because I'm thinking like maybe for, again, not me, but maybe for somebody who just holds their stick a certain way, maybe it would interfere with them. It would feel weird for them. But just for me, I don't notice a difference one way or the other. I don't think it does anything, but that's just what's going to come stock on the Flylite. Another difference is the height of the shaft. So let me line these up. Okay. So you can see off the bat right now that the Flylite is shorter. But that's before what I'm about to tell you, which is that, and you know this if you watched my Bauer Shadow video, I cut my sticks to a certain height that I want. So I actually even cut down this Shadow. So the difference is actually more stark than this. There's about another inch and a half, something like that on the Shadow. It wasn't like I didn't cut down a lot, but figure about up to here, I would say, something like that. So the difference is even starker on two stock sticks. Now this is something they've been offering. They offered it on the Hyperlite 2 stick. I don't remember if they offered it even before that. I think they did offer it on that. I think it might have started on the Hyperlite 1 stick, where they started doing shorter shafts on the Vapor Hyperlite line. Just because that's become a trend that guys, not only are they going with a shorter stick overall, shorter paddle, they're also going with shorter shafts. A lot of guys are starting to cut it down, whatever. So I guess Bauer saw that and they decided to just offer it up like that at stock. Kind of like the Pentagrip though. I don't really like it as their stock option. Not so much that it's something necessarily again that I'm gonna find bad, but you can always cut, you can't add, right? I mean, I guess technically you could put like a little extender button thing on it, but for the sake of argument, let's just say like, right, you can always cut down shorter if you want to shorter it. You can't really add it to make it longer. So like again, you know, there's custom options if you want custom, but if you want stock, you're gonna get this shorter shaft. And if you didn't want that, well, nothing you can really do about it. You know, it's really very easy to cut down the shaft if you want. So honestly, I think they would be better off if they just had it the same size shaft as the Shadow, just had the standard length. And then maybe just offer it as a custom option if somebody really knows they want to go shorter. Otherwise, just leave it up to the person to just cut the shaft to the length they want. Because like I'm showing you even here, like with me, like this is shorter than I normally go. It's not a huge deal to me. Like I'm not scared that it's this, you know, much shorter. But if it was up to me cutting it, I wouldn't have gone quite that short. So, I mean, we'll see if it affects me at all playing. I don't anticipate that it really will. But, you know, it's just kind of another option they're forcing you at the stock level to get with this, where I think it'll be better as just offering it as a custom option. And let's look at the graphics on the two sticks. Again, this is the Shadow, this is the Flylite. So going through the paddle up towards the shaft. So, I mean, this is obviously just personal opinion. I personally prefer the Flylite graphing a little bit. I mean, I don't think either one is like spectacular. They're both pretty basic. But if you're asking me which one I think looks a little better, I got to go with the Flylite. At stock, you're going to get, I want to say it's like 6 color options, something like that. It's very basic colors for the most part. It's like red, navy. I think sport gold is one of them. Like metallic gold is another one, I think. Or at least with the Shadow it was. I don't remember if they have metallic gold with the Flylite now. But there are some basic color options you can choose. So basically, like I chose the red with both of these. So just in your mind, substitute red for like I said, one of these basic colors I just mentioned. And you can get, those are options at stock. So I do like that Bauer offers that. I feel like with a lot of other sticks, at the stock level, they don't offer very many color options. And it's almost forcing you to go custom if you want to try to match the color of your gear. So I do think that's a plus for Bauer that they, at least, I mean, not that it's so much, but they do offer you pretty basic color. Like, unless you just have some weird color combination going on, you can pretty much find a Bauer stock stick that color-wise would at least somewhat match your gear or whatever. But then if you go custom, you could really do a lot more with it. There's various sections you can color in with whatever color you want on both of these sticks. Yeah, so I think the only thing left to talk about is the weight. I've mentioned before in other videos, I don't think the weight of any stick, any current stick is really heavy. They're all light. Yes, there's some differences. If you really feel two sticks, you know, you might be able to tell one's a little lighter. But in general, any of these higher end sticks, CCM, Warrior, Bauer, weight-wise, there's nothing to complain about, you know. That being said, Bauer, you know, they're touting this as their lightest stick ever, the Flylite. I wrote down the measurements, and so I've been doing this for a while now with my video reviews on sticks. I have a little, it's really like a food scale thing, but it works to measure sticks. You can measure things like that on it. So I've been using this same scale for all the videos I've done about sticks, measuring it. And that's what I did with this. So that's what I've been going by. And the reason I'm kind of like saying these caveats about this is you'll see in a second. So just to start off with the Bauer Shadow, when I weighed it new, now this is before I cut it, before I added the tape and everything, when it was brand new, like in this type of condition, that weighed in at 596 grams for me. Again, this is a size 24. And they're both size 24, so it's apples to apples comparison. 596 grams for the Shadow, new. If you look online, any kind of Bauer literature, they actually print what they're claiming the weight is for the Flylite, And they're saying a 25, they're using 25, I guess, is kind of like a standard size. They don't offer different weights for different sizes. They just say, Bauer claims in their own literature, they claim a 25-inch paddle stick of the Flylite weighs 555 grams. That's what they're saying. Now, this is a 24, so you would think if anything, this should be a little lighter because it has a smaller paddle. According to my scale that I've been using this whole time to weigh it, I mean, you know, you can say maybe my scale's off, whatever. I've never had any problems with it or thought it was off before, but my scale is showing that the actual weight of this 24-inch Flylite stick is 564 grams. So again, they're saying a 25-inch stick should be 555. My 24-inch one comes in at 564. So I'm getting a 9-gram difference more. And again, it's a smaller stick. So I don't know what to tell you there. You know, I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you that. I don't really care. I'm not mad about it because, like I said, to me, these weight numbers don't mean a whole lot because I don't feel like any of these sticks are heavy. I have no issue with the weight of any of them. I think they all feel super light in my hand. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just telling you based on what I've measured. You know, I don't know where that difference might be coming from. If you want to say my scale's off, I mean, whatever. As far as I know, it's not, but you know, whatever. I'm just telling, again, I'm just the messenger here. So even that being what it is, if we're going to go by this Flylite I have here being at 564 grams and my Shadow when it was new at 596 grams, that's still 32 grams lighter than the Shadow. This Flylite is. Again, in the grand scheme of things, in your hand, 32 grams is like nothing. So yes, technically it's lighter. You know, when you're comparing the two sticks or deciding between the two for yourself, I don't think 32 grams is going to really be the deciding factor. You know, I feel like I'd honestly choose between the graphic personally before I choose just between that, one's 32 grams lighter. So, I mean, that being said, I do like this graphic better anyway, and it is the lighter stick. But just to say like how little I really care about these weights, it would literally be the last thing I think about if everything else was equal, you know, when comparing these sticks. So for me, it's a non-factor, but some of you care, and it's just something that's out there. And, you know, like I said, there was that discrepancy with the weight when I weighed it. So just wanted to put that out there. So, you know, that's pretty much the difference, right? The Flylite, let's kind of quickly go over the differences. The Flylite lighter comes with the Pentagrip. Shadow has just the regular old grip. Shadow has the ergo spine. Flylite just has a very traditional looking paddle on the backside. Flylite is going to come with a shorter shaft than the Shadow. And that's pretty much the differences you're going to find between the two. And then, you know, you see what the graphics look like difference-wise. Now, just kind of throw out some options off the top of my head. I know, like when you go custom, like I said, you know, obviously colors, you can do a lot more with the color options. You can get rid of the Pentagrip if you really don't like it. You can tell them to give you the standard size shaft if you go custom, which, like I said, I think it should be the opposite, where its stock comes with the standard size shaft and then you could custom get it with the shorter one. But the way they have it is you have to go custom if you want to get the longer shaft on this, but it is something you can do at the custom level. You can also obviously get whatever size you want. And then you can also change, they have some options for the shape of the paddle shoulder here. Off the top of my head now, I'm not going to claim to know every single one. I think they have like a rounded option. This is the traditional looking option, which I normally go for. They have a more rounded one. I think they might have two different levels of rounded ones, but I might be confusing myself with Warrior here now. It's, you know, a lot of these things get mixed up in my head, and I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I know I have seen some Bauers with trigger grips, but again, I don't remember now if those were pro returns that I saw or if that is actually an option you can do custom. I want to say now they are offering the trigger grip as an option to custom, but really if you're interested in custom, I highly advise you to call your whatever preferred retailer you have and talk to one of their knowledgeable staff and really go top to bottom all the options over, even if it's something you might not have realized you wanted to change or whatever. You know, that's happened to me before, and that's why I always promote whack at Pure Goalie, because he's very thorough, goes over all the options. Like I said, even ones I didn't necessarily know about whenever I order anything custom. So if you're going custom, definitely, you know, don't just wing it. I know like if you go to the website, they'll kind of let you order just on your own online. I really wouldn't, even if you think 100% you know what you want, just for the hell of it, man, it doesn't hurt. Call them up, talk to somebody just to make sure you know all your options and everything, right? But yeah, so that's the difference between these two. You know, like I said, I will do an actual review video on this after I've used it for a while, but I just kind of wanted to figure, like I said, this would be kind of an out of the box video on this, but also kind of just go over differences between the two lines that are currently out for Bauer. And then just something else to throw out there is, you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while and see my other stick review videos, you know, I've mainly been a Warrior guy for the most part, and I really like Warrior sticks. I'm kind of now dabbling in Bauer. One of the reasons, I mean, part of it is just curiosity and just like, as you know, I like trying different things. But so with Warrior now, and this is just what I was told, I hadn't seen any option to order custom on the new V4. I prefer the V line over the M line personally with Warrior. I have used the M line. It's not bad or anything, but I just prefer the V line. So the new V4 stick is out, but it's only out in stock. Like they don't have an option to customize it, and they don't have, at least as of me filming this video, they don't have like different color options. That's why I said like I like that about Bauer. It's just like the one they have is just like a simple black and white one or whatever. It might have silver and something like that. I inquired about like if they were gonna offer anytime soon custom options with their new V4 stick, because I have gotten custom in the past. The last custom order I had was when the V2 came out. I got a custom 3-pack that's lasted me. I'm still on my last. I still have one more of those. That's lasted me for multiple years. The 3 sticks, durability on those were great. But when I inquire about the V4 now, they said as of now there's no plans, or they have no idea if or when they are going to offer custom. Apparently part of that has to do with like these tariffs and stuff. Again, I'm just the messenger telling you that. Whatever you think of tariffs, that's just what I was told. So I'm just relaying it to you guys. That has something to do with the fact that they right now don't have any plans to do custom with that. So because of that is why I'm more open to wanting to try these Bauers and seeing which one I like better. And then I'm probably just going to order like a 3-pack custom Bauers. You know, if Warrior was offering custom, I probably would have just stuck with the V4. But since they're not, and it's kind of like up in the air if they even are going to, and I do like the Bauer. I mean, I've had very positive results using the Shadow. That's why I wanted to, before I just went ahead and ordered like custom Shadow sticks, I also wanted to just give the Flylite a try just to see which of these two. But yeah, so I'm probably just going to go, I'm using this, you know, these two to try them out. These are both like kind of test sticks for me. And then from there, I'll probably decide what I want to do with custom. So that's just kind of the story behind, if you're wondering why I've been using Bauer now and I'm not like really talking about the new Warrior or whatever. So yeah, so that's the end of this video. And just, you know, if you're interested in the Flylite, keep an eye out in the future for the actual review video on that. But that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.